Hello, and thank you for listening to Stories from the Shed. My name is Adam, and with me again this week, a man whose New Year's resolution is to stop drinking 2 sleeves of Fireball after work. Jake, how's it going?
Pretty good. Drink a couple sleeves a couple times a week. Probably not a great idea.
How many shots is 2 sleeves?
20.
Stop doing it.
Yeah, sorry. It happens. No, I'm just kidding. I don't really drink that much, but I did do it one time, and then I just found out tonight that Jake the Snake, the wrestler, drank 22 shots of Fireball in one night, apparently, according to Adam.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn it, I was only 2 short. I could have totally broken his record.
You could have, and then you could have went in there and wrestled somebody. Because what he did was he drank all that Fireball, and then he went in and wrestled.
How'd you feel in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, horrible. Yeah. I threw up in my car on the way home. I had to have someone drive me home. I don't even remember asking them. I just remember waking up and being carried by 2 large people and placed into bed. And the last thing I remember was watching my door close, and then I passed out again. It was so bad. I woke up the next morning, and I had thrown up all over my car, and it was bad. Really, 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 really bad. Won't do it again. Speaking of alcohol, this is a strong beer. I've had 2 sips off it, and I'm like, ooh, hi.
Yeah, not bad. I think this might be a good time to say that we have my wife Sarah with us again. If you hear that
Hello.
voice.
Hola.
Hello.
Hi.
Just got out of work.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night.
And I just got paid.
Thanks for the
Tomorrow
beers.
Well, Gonzo.
Yeah, what are we thinking of this?
Gonzo.
Just like
Not
my
bad,
paycheck. Gonzo.
Gonzo. Well, it's from it's from Flying Dog. Gonzo, it's an Imperial Porter. And it's a pretty strong one. It's a 9.2. So
It has a cool Hunter S. Thompson quote on it. It never got weird enough for me.
yeah, well, this is a weird beer. It's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, for sure. It's there. It's very I don't know, it's very strong immediately.
Yeah. Well, you expect that with the high alcohol, I think.
Yep.
What do you think? What are you giving it?
I'm going to give it a 4 just because I don't know how I'm going to react to it just yet.
Honey, what do you think?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Gonna give it a 4. I'll give it a 4. We give it 4 out of 5 Skelly fingers. So we recommend Gonzo.
Drinking this in your shed. Don't drive after, please.
Yeah. Drinking.
Bad
in
idea.
shed.
Okay, let's party. I'm just reading the label.
Oh yeah. Let's party. Yeah, it's
All right.
kind of a cool label, creative. I do like the skulls.
I agree. Well, look at you, Mr. Scully Fingers. Of course you do. That makes sense.
They had another one that was called Raging Bitch, too. So,
Oh, I'll buy that one next week.
yeah.
That might be a good one for next week's
Yeah,
episode.
maybe.
Yeah, we'll track that down. So this is kind of I guess we could call it an off episode in a way, maybe.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
Not really.
It's the week of Christmas right now, so it's kind of between Christmas and New Year's. So
Yeah, and we're recording this a week ahead of time. We have one that is going to be coming out 2 days from now. Not going to tell you guys exactly what it's about. You guys will have to listen and find out. But this is for the first episode of 2019.
yeah, so it's kind of hard to put the research in and the time in on this week. So we're just going to talk a little bit about, we've got an update, and we're going to talk a little bit about Pineland, a place we went to visit fairly recently, a couple of weeks ago.
I hear it's really nice over there.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
See, we had been, obviously growing up around here, we've all heard of it. And it was a place that we had tried to find a few times. For some reason, it's 10 farms, and it's, I think, 5,000 acres.
Yep.
For some fucking reason, we couldn't find this big section of land.
Well, I took us to the back roads to LL Bean to find this place because for some reason I thought it was out in that direction. And by the time, you get across the bridge, you're like, okay, yeah, we're going the wrong way. So 15 minutes in, and then we find it.
Yeah, but it's kind of a nice drive up. Once you, I guess, kind of get into the Pineland area, it's surrounded by white fences. Now, you've been there before, Jake.
I had been there before. My stepdad actually used to work there. And it was pretty nice. And they make some really good cheese over there, I'm not going to lie. I'd go over and he'd give me like a 3-pound block of cheese and just be like, take this home, and I'd have cheese for like a month.
Yeah, we ate at their cafe. They have great food there. What'd you have? You had the Mount Washington, and
Yeah.
I had the Thanksgiving sandwich or whatnot, and
Yeah, sandwich. I think it was kind of a sandwich and soup place.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you go in there. There's a little cafeteria. There's a gift shop kind of area.
Yep.
And there's a lot of surrounding buildings that are used as like office space.
Yeah,
and-
it's a super nice campus. It's really big too. I remember driving through there when I had visited one time, and you can go end to end. It's pretty big.
It's pretty big, and it wasn't meant. I mean, not meant. I shouldn't say it that way. It wasn't initially built and used, for these purposes. Pineland's been around since
The early 1900s.
Yeah, I think the plans for it came up around 1907. I think that's when the state kind of got the funding together and. What they needed to do, what was happening really nationally, was that institutions were being built all over the country.
What's an institution?
We just basically, it's a building or structure that's used to house mentally challenged people of different
okay.
ages. And
Okay, so like a mental hospital.
in
kind
some
of thing.
in some ways. And some of the stories that
Is it
you
more
read-
like a mental living facility?
yeah, extreme assistance in a lot of cases,
Okay.
a lot of hands-on, but some of the people there were actually not mentally challenged. They were like maybe there's a story, and I picked up a book while we were there. We'll kind of talk about that, I guess, a little bit. But
Pineland's Pass, the first 100 years.
yeah, and there's a story in there about this guy that he and his family lived up in Troy, Maine, and there was a fire that burned down. I guess it sounded like a few buildings in the community, and he was displaced. And
with
this
his
was
brother.
with
too.
his-
his brother went there with him too.
That's right. And I think maybe other siblings, and they were there because there was no other place for them.
So it wasn't just for mental health patients. It was for people who were kind of not abandoned but orphaned.
Orphaned,
Is
yes.
what okay.
Orphaned, or maybe something happened where their families couldn't take care of them. But
So if you were going to put that all under an umbrella, it was kind of like a home for people who needed help.
oh yeah, for sure. And that was kind
okay.
of something that was popping up all over the country
At the time.
at the time. And it started off. It was a school. It was a small school. And do you remember what the name of it was, Sarah? I think it was something like.
Pownell School something?
Yeah, you found it. It's the Maine School for the Feeble-Minded in West Pownell, Maine.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like an old schoolhouse. Now, I don't think that building's there anymore, but it started off as that.
And then they just changed it to Pineland Farms.
Well, what had happened was the state had given some grants and such towards it. They, from then, developed, more facilities and so on. But what had happened was they started off in this place, and I think this was the outlook, was to have a medical look on things, to assess these people and see what life skills they could be taught.
Okay.
So when the state gave them the funding for Pineland, they bought 10 surrounding farms.
So they bought a bunch of land.
All adjoined, and I think it takes up sections in 4 towns. And they built the main building on top of a hill, and it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are probably, I don't know if you remember, honey, but you could see the mountains, the White Mountains in the
wow.
distance. So it's I think you get the feel like it was meant to be a beautiful place and a place for help and a place to. I don't know if rehabilitation was a thought then, but the thought was certainly to teach people,
Yeah,
so
and it was 5,000 acres.
5,000 acres. Do you remember what they were doing with the people? Like, they had the farms. What were they?
Well, the main idea was to house them, but to keep them working. So that's where they had the farms.
It's probably a good way to show these people how to live a normal life too. Get them as active as they can be, and as helpful as they can be, and as self-sufficient as they can be.
Independent as much as they can, yeah.
That was
Right.
definitely the original goal. Did you happen to read any of what they were doing as far as on the farms and such?
I didn't.
I think they were doing a lot of like vegetable. They were feeding themselves, and they had beef, they had pig.
Yeah, they were raising farm. Well, I imagine at a farm they were raising farm animals. They were probably doing fruits and veggies and stuff like that.
Yeah, they were able to sustain themselves and then some. But the problem that they had also was that staff there was, what do they call that, a high turnover rate?
Yeah.
And that's always been a problem
Well,
with
because
that
they
field.
didn't have the funds to pay them or the funds to house all these people.
Well, it was a tough job.
So they were already, so it ended up being like an overworked, underpaid type of
and
thing.
it's still in a lot of cases that way today. But
yeah, probably in that field.
But
Oh, absolutely. When I did this work, we'd always have time for overtime. There was overtime all the time.
Yeah.
Just because the need for staff is just, you need staff.
Yeah. It's a hard job.
It is. It's
It's a hard job. You and I, Adam, have a friend who does it too. Or who still does it, I'm assuming, right?
that's, yes, yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, no, it's kind of one of those things. I think even back then, the ones that toughed it out
Yep.
were the ones that wanted to do it, just like today.
Right.
But
You got to be a really caring person to do a job like that.
And back then, they didn't have the regulations and such that they have now. They would do things to them like punish them in kind of inhumane ways. So you have these beautiful buildings on the outside, this nice, clean looking place, but as soon as you
Right.
go inside, it smells like urine. And some of the buildings,
Oh.
it smelled like feces. There was people getting burned with boiling water, people being tortured.
Oh.
Now, I don't want to say this happened at Pineland, what I'm about to say, because I know it happened at other ones, but in the book that I read, it said nothing of this happening at Pineland specifically. But at some of these places, if you were kind of an unruly individual, they would do things over a period of time like shock treatments and
Oh, wow.
lobotomies and stuff like that.
Ugh.
But once you made it to Pineland, it seemed like you were there for life for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so you would work there. And as time went on, they were operated by superintendents. And the superintendent was, I believe the first 4 were medical doctors. And so they had the medical approach on everything.
Right.
But what's kind of interesting when it came to reading this book was to see how the attitude towards these developmentally disabled people changed over time.
Oh, I'm sure it's changed quite a bit.
I mean, in the
Because
beginning.
look at how we treat people now.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys ever hear about that Malaga Island?
We had talked about it earlier today. It's an island off of Phippsburg, right?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Did you find anything on that?
Yeah, I did. I had seen something
It's in
that said
Casco Bay,
It's in
41
Casco
acre
Bay.
island at the mouth of New Meadows River in Casco Bay, Maine.
Didn't they remove several people from that island to take them to Pineland at that time? Was the Maine school? It was titled the Maine School for the Feeble-Minded.
But I think what it was that on that island they were outcasting. Weren't they at one point outcasting people there? Feeble-minded people at the time. That's what they called them, feeble-minded. They were outcasted there, but over a period of years, they had a community and they started to have families. And I believe what the state's issue at the time was that there was a lot of incest going on. Did you guys read anything about that?
No, but I think I'm definitely cutting that part out. Jesus.
What part? The incest?
The incest
That's
part.
in there.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking believe you.
Yeah, man.
No,
there was,
dude.
So that was kind of a thing that there was some of that going on, and they were moving a lot of these families to places like Pineland.
Why?
And there was also mass graves going on this island, and
Yep, Maine authorities abducted and removed men and women and children, many of whom were forced into various institutions. And in 1912, undertook the mass eviction, and remaining 45 members were forced.
Off of the island?
Undertook the mass eviction of the remaining 45 interracial community. To discourage resettlement, Maine authorities eventually even dug up the graves and took the dead for burial at the Maine School for the Feeble-Minded in Pownell.
yeah. And she said,
Wow.
mixed people. There was African American people there too. I don't know
Well,
why they were outcasted
that's
there
what
for.
a mixed race community would entail.
Right, but that's what they were. Well, as opposed to like local Native Americans or something else. They just for some reason were outcasting
people to that island,
right?
Of
For
all,
different
of all
reasons.
races.
Yeah, right, for different reasons.
Okay.
Now, there was something else that was going on slightly after the the 1910 era. They started kind of looking at sterilization a little bit more.
Yeah.
In the middle of the 1920s, some experts on the feeble-mindedness were beginning to point out that its causes were often not hereditary. So, meaning if you're a person with disabilities and you have a child, it doesn't mean that you have a higher chance in a lot of cases of having a disabled child.
That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I could be wrong, but that doesn't make sense to me. I would feel like if you had some sort of mental challenge or some sort of disability, it would be easier to pass it on to your child.
Well, that's what some of the doctors were saying at the time. I mean, some of them were saying that 80% of feeble-minded people are born of feeble-minded parents.
Okay, well,
But what they were doing though, when somebody was developmentally disabled, was it would sterilize them.
Well, didn't you just say that it wasn't necessarily hereditary?
Right. Well, that's when they were doing that up in. I feel like they've been doing that for a while, but it was huge then. Like if you were going to leave Pineland or something, a lot of times that was on the terms of it, and they were doing a lot of sterilization. I think the last sterilization at Pineland was done in 1969 to a woman that lived in the Guilford area, which is up by Dover Foxcroft. Any of you people
who the hell
that
wants to go there?
Me.
Why? No.
Nice woods area, but
Yeah, you can keep it.
so as time went on, they started to change the way things were done. Even at Pineland, they started changing the way they were treating these people. They started to teach them more skills. They started to try to get them out into other programs. And later on, they ended up having a superintendent that instead of having a medical doctorate, he was more of a psychologist. I think he had what do they call that? PhD over an MD kind of a thing. Yeah. And this guy, it was funny because he took over Pineland, but he realized that Pineland had to end. He was like, this isn't the way to do things. So over a period of time, they started phasing people out of Pineland and more into assisted living, where people were living more in houses or apartment buildings, and they had staff a lot of times 24 hours a day. And Sarah, you did that for a number of years.
Yeah, I did it for 9 years.
It's a long time.
9 years.
Yeah. I mean, can you tell us a little bit about that? Like, what would a day be like?
Did you work in a house? Or
yes,
you
I
did?
worked in a house. Both female, male, depending on the day.
Yep.
And you would just, get in there at 8 o'clock in the morning, get out at 8 o'clock that night.
Yep.
And you would just help them wake up, give them medication, bathe them, and then some days, like so let's say a Saturday, you have grocery shopping, or you have dances, or you have dates with their boyfriends, or
acclimating them to normal life.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Laundry, you would help them with everything.
See, I think that was kind of the mindset of the last superintendent. He was very, I would just say, ahead of the curve for his time. But they ended up getting it to a point where they dwindled down Pineland to just 60 people living there.
Wow.
And it was in 1994 that they closed Pineland's doors as far as being an institution for good.
Yeah.
Well, was it in 1996?
Yes.
Oh, my bad. I thought it was in 94.
Okay. It's okay.
But
Close enough.
anyways, so when they closed it, they had doves that flew in the air. They had kind of a ceremony, and these residents, they all kind of went off to that assisted living.
How long in total did they run as an institution? Almost 100 years.
Yeah, that would have been
80
I think they opened their doors in 1908.
08.
And they closed in 96.
Yeah.
See, 88 years, almost 90 years.
You know what was interesting also was as the attitude towards developmentally handicapped people changed, the name of the school changed. It kind of made me laugh as I'm reading the book and I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, can you imagine driving down the road and you saw a school and outside of it there was a sign that said, school for the feeble-minded and idiotic. You would just kind of laugh if you saw that today. Like, what the hell
Yeah,
am
in
I looking at?
2018, that would be very, very strange.
You'd be like, what is this?
Yeah, right?
But
when are we living? In the 1900s?
yeah, and it was kind of because you I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I guess you as the terms change, and even like the word retard or retarded and stuff, that's not even a word that you use anymore. And I didn't understand why. I always kind of felt like if you look up the definition of it, it means a little slower or a little behind, and so you can kind of see where they got that word at the time. But from reading Pineland, what you kind of realize is that these people want to be viewed as people, and if you call them retarded people, then you're giving them that label that of being different, of not being able to, get along in society and do their thing, go to dances and do all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I guess me personally, I think it's just a word, and people can stop being offended over a word. But I think people are more upset with the negative connotation that comes with it. Like you said, I can totally see wanting to be treated as a person and not looked down upon, but I don't know, man. It's just a word. It's really just a word. You know what I mean? And if you're that concerned with how other people view you, then I feel like there's a problem. If you think that you're fine and you're good enough, I just think that, what do you care what other people say? Why do you care what word other people use? Honestly,
Yeah.
If you don't like the word, don't use it.
Well, a lot of people are told it's a word that should upset you.
Well, it's a word that was used back, in 1908.
And really all the way up through until
through.
the 90s, really. Around when these
Right.
facilities started closing is when that word
Right.
started becoming, a negative thing to say. But I reading this book here, and it's a good book, and I'm going to do a little book shout out here. It's Pineland's Past, the First 100 Years by Richard S. Kimball. And he's a Mainer, and it's kind of a cool book. Like if you're interested in the state or you come here to visit, it's kind of like a good little historical book to read. It's kind of a fun read. But from this book, though, you kind of maybe see what their point of view is as far as why they feel like it's a negative, and even saying they, you know what I mean?
Right.
But why people that have these kind of developmental problems feel that way. But, they closed, and it sat dormant for a little while. Moving on, right?
Yeah, right.
And
then they turned it into what it is today.
It's a luxury casino now.
Yeah. No, I wish. No, they kept the farm going, and now they sell cheese and vegetables and shit.
Yeah, what do you think? We went there 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I want to go hike. I want to go hiking. I really would like to go ride some of these bike trails. They have a whole system of trails there that you can snowshoe, you can bike, you can hike it. It's really cool.
Well, and we didn't even get down to the farm.
No, we just went to the little. I was a little surprised, weren't you, when we got there and we checked it out?
Yes, and you'd ask a few questions, and they didn't really have any history of its past.
And I think you and I were expecting more of a tour. I thought you and I were going to go and we were going to check out buildings with
like maybe
like a museum type thing.
Yeah.
But it really was an office complex with one building where you can go into and spend your money. But outside of that, other stuff that you were talking about, the trails and all that, that's really cool.
You can kind of understand why they wouldn't want to do that, just because it was a tough time.
Right.
But you know what? I'm also, a person that thinks when times are bad in the past, why try to erase it?
No, I agree with that
you
too.
learn more
look
by
forward,
but remember the
how
past.
much we've moved on,
Right.
and how much things have changed for the better.
Why look at the negative? Look at the positive aspect of it. Yeah, of course there were bad things that happened, but look at how we
learned, we grew as a society.
Now we don't do those things anymore. Obviously, you wouldn't want to keep a statue up of like people getting lynched.
Pineland's intentions were never negative, I don't think. I think negative things happen there by people that were undertrained and understaffed.
And some of them, they just didn't care.
Or just straight up didn't care.
Well, I think our understanding of how people with mental health problems need to be treated has changed in the last 100 years. And maybe at that time, that was what they thought was going to work. Obviously, it didn't. but we as society have grown, and we know now that you don't treat people like that, in those ways.
So it's like we were saying here. It's changed a lot, Jake.
Yeah.
And what were you saying? Why don't you tell us a little bit about?
Instead of housing people with mental disabilities, now now this place basically is a giant farm, and there's a couple shops, and it's they rent out some buildings for office space, and there's a ton of trails. I'm looking at the map here, and no joke, I think there's like 10 or 11 trails that you can hike and snowshoe and all of this stuff. There's an outdoor center. There's a skating pond. There's a warming cabin. There's also a sledding hill and the thing called the River Valley Cabin. I'm assuming that's just another cabin they have on their plot.
Yeah, these places look pretty luxurious.
Yeah, and they actually have cabins that you can rent out, right? Or guest houses that you can rent out for like a weekend.
Yeah, and they're
stay
pretty
on
sweet.
the premises.
I mean, if you're looking to go do some biking, or even in the winter, you're going to do some snowshoeing, some cross-country skiing.
Right.
Kind of want to get out, recreate, be in the Maine woods. It's kind of a place that has been...
And what's great about it is it's in Grey, New Gloucester, which is only about 20 minutes outside of Portland. So if you wanted to come to Maine for a vacation, you can go hang out in Portland, and then you can stay at Pineland Farms for the week.
Yeah, no, it's definitely kind of a cool place. It's changed a lot, and this
10 out of 10. Recommend that you check it out.
Definitely recommend that you check it out.
Did this just turn into a tourism episode?
You know what? It was just something that kind of happened, but...
Well, it's just it's so beautiful there. It really is. And if we were able to go on these trails, I think it would be even more beautiful if you like the outdoors.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely going to go check that out with the snowshoes, I think, this winter once we get some snow.
Yeah, I'm going to pick up a set of roof racks this weekend for the old Saab and try to put my bike on the roof and go check it out when it gets nice out.
Dude.
It's been great.
I think there was disc golf, too.
There is disc golf.
That's
There's disc
exciting.
golf there. There's disc golf there.
That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We're going to have to go play.
Play some disc golf, go do some biking.
You know what's great? We were seeing green grass on Christmas in Maine. I love that.
Yeah. That's
Today, it snowed like crazy, but it turned to rain at like noon. Now, tomorrow, it's going to be like 50 degrees, and it's all going to melt. And I bet you, if I wanted to, in a week, I could go ride my bike during the day.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you I really could.
You got to pay $5 at Pineland. I do want to say anything. I do not want any of our podcast listeners to drive there without their debit card.
Are you gonna
$5 per person. So if you bring your kids, you will pay.
So do you
To view the farm.
To view the farm and maybe to access those trails.
So what do they have, like a toll thing where you just give them the debit card?
You have to pay at the gift shop.
At the gift shop.
Oh.
And they won't give you any other information other than that there.
Really?
So how do they,
really?
So how do they know if you paid? Do you just drive? Do they give you a permit for your car? How does this work?
We were told that you could go visit the farm.
Yeah.
Sarah, tell
It
us.
would be
wait,
$5.
Tell us the whole experience
And
at
so
the
as
front.
we arrive to the gates leading down to going to the farm,
Yeah.
there's a sign that says you need to go to gift shop and pay $5 per person. So we're like, why didn't she tell us that then and there?
Right.
They were very confused in there. It's a very confused
When you
staff.
ask them, what is, the main buildings that these people were housed in.
Right.
Asking them questions. We're trying to put together a story maybe about this.
Get an image of where, okay, well, if I drive around here, I need to look for this building that they were housed in. And I could envision the building and, kind of be there.
Right.
But they couldn't even give me that information.
Well, excuse me.
So we had looked up on our phones, the name of the buildings. And then so finally, we're driving around and we're like, oh, well, this must be one of the buildings.
We bought this book and we're piecing it together based off the images of the buildings in it.
But a lot of the buildings there look like identical. There's a lot of them that look a lot alike.
Institutionalized.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh.
So to kind of talk about something else here, I got to bring up here a little side note.
Definitely go to Pineland, you guys.
Definitely check out
It is
Pineland,
nice.
but I got to give a big shout out to my lovely wife who bought me a wonderful Mr. Heat portable heat buddy. Not just for the shed, which we're loving it, right, Jake?
Yes.
But also
Feels
for
good on
ice
my
fishing. camping. If you guys don't have a Mr. Heater,
Adam thinks he's getting me out on the ice, and
Get
the
one.
answer is no. It's
You
not
gotta
happening. No,
A little crack, don't.
no,
No.
no.
Come on.
let's get some likes to that Facebook page and see if we can get somebody to comment on Jake to go ice fishing.
We'll
and
go
No.
when it's
We'll
raining.
get a little
and the
podcast
crack
pressure.
is
No.
Just
No.
bursting
Nope.
in every direction, and you
Nope.
don't know which way to run.
Nope.
But thanks to
I'm not
Sarah,
going
you'll
down
be
like a
warm.
goddamn polar
You
bear.
will be warm.
I am not going down like a polar bear. It ain't gonna happen.
You know, we only go when we pass the lake. There are a lot of people out there ice fishing, and they have been out there for like a good month or so. And every time we pass them, we're like, they are freaking crazy.
They are
because
crazy.
I will not. The only time we really go out there is when there's the tournament.
Yeah, I want to give another shout out here. There is a pike derby. It's this weekend of the Super Bowl. It's in Sabattis, Maine. The raffle, the tickets go to a good cause. But if you're into ice fishing, check it out. Check it out. This is a good derby, and the prizes are good. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, if
The
you're,
ice is packed with people, but it's just they're all out there to have a good time.
yeah, so if you're in the Sabattis area on the weekend of the Super Bowl, get out there. We're going to get Jake out there. We're going to
Nope.
get him a remote control car.
Nope.
We're going to give him 2 sleeves
Nope.
of Fireball.
Nope. The answer is no, unless you plan on driving
Blindfold
me in my
him
car
and-
home. Nope.
Jake, it's a surprise.
Nope.
We'll just drive him right out there.
Nope.
Come on, Jake.
Nope. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, get in the car, Jake.
Get
Get in the fucking car.
in the car. Shove me in the trunk. Just tie
Going.
a fireball to the end of the pole.
Right.
Lure me out.
Yeah, but you know what you do? You put,
Only thing I'm catching is
a
the
stick
buzz.
on his head with a fireball ahead of him.
Oh,
Go
fuck
forward,
you.
Jake.
Yeah, no. Oh, dude, the dartboard just fell apart live in front of us.
Honey, I need a dartboard.
Shed happens.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, wow. It is legitimately falling apart in front. Oh.
Well, it got wet. It was raining all day.
Yeah, no shit, right? It's pretty dry in here compared
Pretty
to what
dry.
it was the last time it got. The
Yeah,
last time
pretty,
it had a
it
storm.
was pretty damp.
Dino's
It
been
was.
quiet. I gotta say, people have been saying, "Oh, you guys don't mention Dino a whole
Yeah,
lot."
well, listen, episode 5, it's coming. Don't worry. I yelled at him.
Dino is
Dino's a dick.
he's a fucking sleeping, hibernating,
He's a
whatever the
dick.
fuck he is.
Dude, I send him an invite. I text him every week, yo, you coming on this week or not? And he never gets back to me. He's
Dick.
that friend that you wish would respond to your text messages.
We got a little mouse hole in the shed, and every episode I pour a sip of beer down the mouse hole.
Hoping Dino will come join us.
But no,
But
hasn't perked his interest
We'll
yet.
have to set up the game cam.
Yeah.
The game cam.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
do
we'll
it.
catch-
Well, what we do is
we'll
we
catch
leave
him.
him. What we do is we leave him a Pabst blue ribbon right in the corner over there.
That's
Just write to Dino on it.
Do Dino.
Yeah, leave the game cam in here with the little, maybe plug in that light over there in the corner and just kind of leave it on like a spotlight.
From the shed, and then you trip the game cam at 3 a.m. You see the
Yeah.
fucking groundhog coming up.
Yeah, cracks open the beer. This is good. Thanks, Adam.
So anyway,
Yep.
to kind of get back on to whatever kind of fucking topic we're on now.
What topic?
Well, we're off the Pineland thing, but why don't you talk a little bit about Ayla Reynolds? That was our first episode. There's been some kind of updates with
listen
that.
to this. Yeah. So this was kind of a cool thing that we had talked about when we first started doing this podcast. It would be nice to have like an update. Well, sure as shit, we have an update on our first episode. That sounds delicious. We're back from our impromptu beer break. Oh, you bent the shit out of that cap.
Yeah.
Hope you weren't trying to save that one, Adam.
I have some difficulties here.
I know we didn't
I
even
see
mention the beer break this time.
Nah, that's all right.
We can't play any music.
No, we can. Listen. So we've been using different songs, as you guys have clearly noticed and told us. Thank you for the feedback again, you guys. We appreciate it. Hold on. Oh, that was very unsatisfying. All right. Anyway, so no, the thing with the music is we don't have a song that we can consistently play for our intros and our beer break. So we need to buy a song or buy like a clip of a song so we don't have issues with royalties.
Just buy the whole fucking
blah,
thing,
blah.
dude. The
Yeah.
$20 song. Anyways,
Yeah.
you were talking about Ayla Reynolds.
Any suggestions though would be
Well, no, it's a thing that he looked up, because we don't have a theme song. Here's the thing: we get feedback from people. Some of the feedback that we got was that we need to have a theme song. Like when you watch any kind of a show,
Yep.
they have a song, and we just have been picking
what would
show
your,
appropriate songs. Really,
What would your your song be?
the thong song.
The thong
Well-
song.
well-
thong, the thong.
Well, my thong would be comfortable, but
No, we
I
have
don't
to
know
pick
about you guys.
royalty free.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if we buy a song, we won't have to I guess we won't have to quote it or whatever. Give credit where credit is due. I don't know exactly how it works, but basically, we don't want to get our dumbasses sued. We're doing this in a shed. We're not doing this in an awesome studio like Joe Rogan.
We're not even making fucking money.
No, we're really not, and that's okay because it's a passion project.
Well, it's fun too.
It's
And
fun.
it is fun.
So you were talking about Ayla Reynolds.
Yeah. Okay.
We are
So-
fucking.
okay,
I'll
so-
tell you what, these beers here, my friend,
Dude.
have two, and you're off topic.
Yeah,
I'm off topic.
are
We're
you?
off topic.
Yes, we are.
Justin, they are looking for you. They are looking for you.
Yeah, basically, Justin, look out.
Yeah. Don't drink any Gonzos, Justin, because they'll find you. If you do, they'll find you in the
Yeah,
fucking
you're-
street out in the open.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
won't
You're gonna be
be a
gonzo
party.
to jail.
So what happened, Jake?
So there was a rumor going around that someone was gonna go rat on Justin, say that I saw Justin murder Ayla, but that was just a fake news rumor. Fuck you,
Fake
Facebook.
news.
And then a week later, she is bringing a civil suit against him.
Who's she?
Trista Reynolds.
Trista Reynolds.
Yeah,
Wrongful
Sarah,
death suit.
You saw that, huh?
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
now, wasn't there something that she had to wait so long?
7
she could?
years before she was declared dead.
Yeah.
And then they could proceed with a wrongful
Yeah,
suit.
tell us about that. What do you,
Jesus.
Sarah? What do you know about that? She's passing it to me.
Yeah.
So what?
What do you know about that, Adam?
Well,
Why don't
for-
you tell us what you know
just
about
what
that?
Catch me off guard
just
here.
what I get is that she had to have her daughter declared dead, which I'm sure is a very difficult thing to do because that's it. She's dead. The state says she's dead. But she had to do that in order to bring Justin to a civil trial. Now, let me tell you the difference here. When people ask me, because I'm a lawyer,
Because I'm a
you know
lawyer.
what? You know what? When I'm not here podcasting, I'm a lawyer. That's just
Adam,
the,
you're fucking gonzo.
that's
all right?
just the it's just the fucking truth. But no, to be honest, this is to my understanding. When I'm thinking of a civil trial, I think about the O.J. Simpson trial, where he was found not guilty of murder in.
Guilty.
Well, he was found not guilty.
Guilty.
He was guilty.
But
Guilty.
no, hear me out, guys. He was found not guilty.
I don't care if he was found not guilty.
In his
He's guilty.
trial, his murder trial, he was found not guilty.
Okay.
But then when the families of Nicole and Ron Goldman brought him to civil trial, which, listen, he was brought to civil trial, he was found guilty.
Of course he
of the
was.
crime.
Because he's guilty.
He fucking did it. We know he did. But the point is that he was found guilty, and that's a monetary thing. You don't go to prison for anything that's in a civil trial. You're obligated to pay a monetary thing. But I think more importantly, you have to testify in a civil trial. So what Trista did was by declaring her daughter dead and forcing a civil trial, or being able to have a civil trial, I should say.
Right.
If they're able to catch Justin, which we mentioned in the first episode, he's in California.
Not only that, his last known address is actually a public parking garage, which is kind of ridiculous.
Well, because he's on the run, but we'll talk a little bit about that in a sec.
Well,
but
do you think he actually lived in the parking garage? Maybe
No,
he drove his
no,
piece of shit
no,
car
no.
out there and lived there.
He had a known address, and they served him a few
but,
times.
but just what
okay.
I wanted to say was that if they do catch him, and I hope they do, he's gonna have to testify. He's gonna have to go on the stand.
He's
and
actually going to have to talk.
They're gonna lawyers are gonna ask him.
He's probably just going to say the same shit he did on the news. Oh, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
He'll be found
which
guilty,
wasn't much, but he'll have to talk.
and he'll be
Yeah.
obligated to
This-
pay. Now, will he pay? I don't know.
Will he be obligated to pay?
I think that's how that works. I mean, they garnish
I don't
you.
know, but would they find him guilty if he doesn't know what happened?
They'll find him guilty.
You think
know,
so?
You know what? This guy, unfortunately, here's the thing. He did do it, but and I hate, and I don't want to hear any shit about this, but
Now that you
He's-
said that, you're going to
I'm
hear
gonna.
shit about this.
he obviously did something.
You forget
We
this
all
is the
know that.
internet.
We all know that he did something, right?
Something happened.
But
Right.
the media coverage and the way things work, he's automatically going to be found guilty. even in a sense where, let's say he did not do it, which we know he did, but we don't know he did, but we're confident he did. It's just the way the media portrays things. He's automatically guilty, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
It's just what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just how it works. But
Well, I
in this case, it's a good thing.
You're running from it.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
do you not have much to say, but you're running from it? If my kids have gone missing, I would not leave until I found them. I would not leave to California.
People that know things it's funny because if you look at Ayla Reynolds and you look at our episode, was it 3 or 4 on Kimberly Morrow?
3.
Rhonda Breton, I think she knew something, and she took off to California.
Do you think it's a coincidence that everyone that knows something runs off to California?
I think that when you... Sorry.
What did you just do?
Just dropped a knife. But
Good.
when you...
Wait, what?
It's a Swiss Army knife.
I'm just fucking with you.
But no, I think when you know something and you're scared, you're going to go as far away as you can to hide.
That really is the furthest point. Los Angeles is probably the furthest point from us at this point.
Yeah, you go there, you go get lost in the millions of people.
Yeah.
And then when something like this happens to somebody like Justin, or it could have easily happened to Rhonda Breton, where they were like, get your ass back to Maine, we're taking you to court. All of a sudden, you're hard to find. It isn't like you're in a small town like
Well, they should
Waterville
just go to
or
New
Jay.
York. New York is actually bigger population-wise than LA is.
But it's close. You don't feel safe.
Oh, that's true. And plus, if you're going to move to a big city, why the fuck would you go somewhere where it snows?
What do you think, Sarah? Why did he... If you're looking for your daughter or whatever, why are you going to Los Angeles?
Because he's running.
He's running.
He's running.
He already knows what happens to his... He already knows. He knows that she's not missing.
He knows where she is.
Yeah.
Yes.
They going to find him?
Maybe.
Maybe they'll find him.
What's your gut say? What's your guys' gut say?
I think they will.
Eventually?
I wonder if... I don't know if he's on the run, but I'm willing to bet you they're going to find him.
Even if you're on the run, you're making yourself look even more guilty. If you did not do this to your daughter, then just come back and face it.
Right.
I think Justin should come to the shed.
No.
I don't want him here.
No.
That's a good point.
You want any more kids to go fucking
he's
missing?
guilty.
Jesus.
No, but he should come clean is what I'm saying. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but don't do it in
I
my
think
shed.
it's... You know what? I think this is
Go
what
do
I
it
want to
to the
say
police.
on this kind of like kind of a different type of episode thing we're doing here. I think that those that know what happened with Ayla, those that know what happened with Kimberly Morrow, I think it's time to
Just come clean.
Say something. Yeah.
Come clean. They
But-
have families.
They're gonna find him, I say, and
Yeah, it was time to come clean a month ago, and it's time to come clean again.
Yeah.
Right now.
right now,
Great New Year's gift.
New Year's resolution. It's time to come clean.
Yep, exactly. What's your New Year's resolution, Adam? To come clean?
To come clean.
Do you have something to hide from us? What are you hiding from us?
I mean, my New Year's resolution is to take body cleansers. That kind of cleaning.
Oh, okay.
That ain't going on in my house.
No, you know, you
No
guys wanna
endless
talk-
for you, sir.
You know what?
That will be happening
you know
in
what?
the
No.
shed.
No, it will not.
We don't even have a fucking toilet in here. Go shit by that ficus.
We have the tree outside.
This is what I want to do this year. I want to kind of maybe progress in my day job. Work hard there. I want to spend more time with the kids, but take them out fishing and hunting, and maybe do more stuff outside of the house this year. Main stuff.
Outdoorsy stuff.
And I need to start. I'm so busy, but I got to start because I like to work out. It's just hard to find time, and you get into these routines, and then you fall out of them.
Yep.
But I ultimately like doing it. I got to figure out like a prison workout at home. You know what I mean? Doing fucking curls and
Well, I don't recommend it, but you
squats
could
and
go to
shit.
prison. That would get you motivated.
Well, you know what I mean. The way you don't have anything at the house, you just kind of do like a little circuit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Spend more time in the shed.
A lot of time in the shed.
Yep. A lot of renovations to the shed.
What's your
Hopefully this summer.
New Year's resolution?
I got a couple. I got a project car that's been sitting in my garage for 3 years, and my New Year's resolution, at least to start, is to get that fucking thing moving finally. It's been 3 years since I got to drive it, and I miss driving it. And I could cut myself down to one car if I finally got it running. That would be nice. So that's number one. Number two is probably to cut down on drinking. I'll be honest. The last 6 months, has been pretty heavy drinking, and it should probably come down just to Fridays, Saturdays, whenever we record.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Stay healthy.
Yeah,
Be healthy.
Have a couple and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Those are the two that I really would like to stick to this year. Nothing crazy, nothing that I really have to work that hard for. It's just going to be willpower, getting off my ass and doing it. Yeah. What about you, Sarah?
I want to spend more time with the kids. I'd like to go camping a lot more. Be outside. Last year we were outside or inside a lot. Usually we spend a lot of time outside. So just to be outside.
More camping.
Sorry,
more fires.
More gonzo.
Yeah, more fires.
More gonzo.
And just enjoy life, enjoy the kids, enjoy the family, and just, not have any stress. Just
those people across the way from us when we went camping this summer were really nice. They gave Remy that really cool fire thing. It changed the color of the fire.
Yeah.
That thing was really cool. That was a really awesome place.
Yeah, it is nice at Beaver Brook.
Yeah, for sure. So, we'll look forward to listening to us hopefully throughout all of 2019.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't see why we should stop.
No,
Adam's getting a new computer here in the next week or so, so we can stop recording on this 10-year-old piece of shit MacBook, and we can start recording on a 6-year-old MacBook.
Yeah, refurbished,
but nonetheless, it's better than what we're using now.
Yes, it's gonna be great. And so we're just gonna continue to, as far as my New Year's resolution for the shed is just to continue to improve on the podcast and improve on the structure of the shed.
Maybe some
make
merch.
it more comfortable.
Maybe some merch this coming year.
Yes, that would be kind of cool. Some merchandise. Cool. Yeah, I've got
sweatshirts.
I got a buddy
mugs,
that can do that for us. So.
Something.
Yep.
Something
that's
cool.
doable.
Get a store up.
For sure.
Yeah, figure it out.
We want to do some different types of stuff. We've been talking about doing some serial killer type things.
You know what else would be great? If we could get Stitcher to work with us. We've had so many problems trying to get our stuff uploaded to Stitcher.
Stitcher, you're busting my balls. Actually, you're busting
Stitcher.
Jake's balls more than mine.
Yeah, listen to this,
well,
right?
You're busting mine too.
Well, listen to this. So so for people who don't know, or who don't know, I guess, when you do a podcast, you have to upload to each individual store. So like if you want to get on iTunes, you have to upload to Apple, or you have to submit to Apple, you have to submit to Google, and you have to submit to Stitcher and all these other platforms. Apple and Google Play have had zero problems uploading. When I use my my host and I hit upload and I schedule it for whatever time to release, it releases at that time. My phone automatically gets a notification. It downloads.
Yeah.
It's done. Stitcher, for some reason, won't get our episodes for like 2 or 3 days. And I've emailed them and they go, oh, it's your RSS feed. You need to discuss this with your host. So I email my host, and my host says, no, they fucking lied to you. It's Stitcher's problem. Your RSS feed hasn't changed since you signed up, blah, 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 blah. So every week I have to email Stitcher and tell them to refresh my thing, my RSS or whatever, and then the episode goes through. So what I'm saying is, guys, switch to iTunes or Google Play.
And this is what I got to say. Thank you, everybody, for the 5-star reviews that we've gotten so far. And a lot of those same people that have done that, they're hitting me up about the Stitcher thing. Like, we're not getting you guys on Stitcher. Check us out on Google.
Yeah.
Google Play, I'll tell you, it's on there, but we're going to keep going with Stitcher, but you can always find us on Google Play.
Maybe we should go on YouTube this coming year, too.
That would be cool.
That's not a bad idea.
Cameras in the shed, maybe. No?
No, I'm not talking video. We can upload with just like a picture of our logo and play the voice
in
the background. That would be a good way to start. Cameras, no. If we did cameras, maybe we could record with one computer and
we just
do the other one.
Could secretly set up the game camera and snap a picture of
well,
Jake,
there is cameras that we could use that would live feed this. Or
Do
however
we have
they call
cameras?
We could get them.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, we got fucking Amazon, man.
Yeah, that's true.
We got fucking
Prime.
Amazon.
Yeah, even up here in the woods, I promise you, we have Amazon.
We do. 2-day delivery, too.
All right, guys, I think it's time to shut this down. I'm starting to feel these beers a little
Yeah.
a little much. We can hang out and play some darts or something, but I think it's time to put the mics away.
That's right. So if you guys have any show ideas, you got any kind of critiquing, you can always email us at sftspodcast@gmail.com.
Yep. Same with our iMessage for people who are hip and who have moved on from their 4-year-old mentality of using an Android phone. You can find us on Facebook, Stories from the Shed, Instagram, Stories from the Shed Podcast, and our Twitter that I have been slacking on. I'm sorry. Stories from Shed.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Have a good night, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.